Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really profound mystery about consciousness itself, and it all comes from the writings of the incredible Jorge Luis Borges. The central idea here is a real mind-bender. It challenges our most basic idea about what attention is. See, it's not just about how we focus, but what actually happens to reality when we focus.
Everything really starts with this one startling question. Borges supposedly asked this to a friend while they were just walking through Buenos Aires one evening. And this question, it just unravels everything we think we know about the simple act of paying attention.
So, is attention just a one-way street? Most of us think of it like a tool, a spotlight that we control, that we shine on the world to get information. But Borges started to suspect it was something way stranger, something much more collaborative.
Yeah, so the conventional view is pretty straightforward. Attention is something we pay, like a currency. We shine our mental flashlight into a dark room and see what's there. But Borges, he proposed something way more radical. He said attention is a two-way street. It's a mutual event, a meeting, where both the observer and the thing being observed actually change each other.
He first clued into this in a really personal way. As his eyesight began to fail, his assistant, Maria Kodama, would read to him, and he noticed something amazing. When he listened with this really intense focus, she actually read better. It was as if his attention wasn't passive at all, but an active force shaping her performance in real time. And once he saw it, he saw this pattern everywhere. Think about it. When you really, truly listen to a piece of music, it becomes more vivid, right? More real. Or in a deep conversation, your focus actually creates the space for brand new ideas to show up. So the big takeaway here is that attention isn't just a passive act of extraction, it's an active force that helps create reality. Okay, so if attention is this two-way street, this relationship, that led Borges to an even more unsettling question. Who, or maybe what, is the I on our end of the conversation? Who's the one in charge of doing the attending? Seriously, take a second and think about it. When you try to look inside your own head to find the source of your attention, the little director in the control room of your mind, what do you actually find in there? Borges' conclusion was, staggering. He said, there is no little person in our heads directing the spotlight. When you search for the attender, all you find is the attention itself. The one who is supposed to be attending is completely, utterly absent from the scene. So this idea of a missing director, this absence, led him to his most profound insight. It's a concept he named after the mythical, all-encompassing point from one of his most famous stories. He called it the Aleph of attention.
Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, it means that your personal act of attention isn't something you're just creating out of thin air. Instead, Borges was arguing that you are tapping into something ancient and shared, a vast collective inheritance of attending that stretches back through all of history.
Let's break that down, because it's a big idea. When you pay attention to something, you're using a language you didn't invent. You're using concepts that were built over thousands of years. You're even using biological ways of seeing the world that were hardwired by evolution. So every seemingly private moment of focus is actually a deeply, deeply collective act. Borges had this really powerful metaphor for it. He said to think of your mind as a prism. The prism doesn't create the light, right? The light of attention is universal, it's everywhere. But the unique shape of your mind, all your experiences, your memories, it refracts that universal light into a very particular color and form. All right, so where does this all come together? Well, this whole idea finds its ultimate expression in something we all do, something that seems simple but is actually profound, the act of reading. So get this, Borges proposed that when you read, a whole new, third entity is actually born. It's not you, and it's not the author. He called it the reader, a unique presence that only exists in that magical space created when your mind meets the text. He found this idea hidden away beautifully in Dante's Inferno. You know the story of the doomed lovers Paolo and Francesca? Their love wasn't just sparked by a book they were reading together. Dante writes that the book itself was an active third party, a go-between, that literally created the relationship in which their love could even exist. Which means a book just sitting on a shelf, it's just ink and paper. It's pure potential. It only becomes a real living thing in the act of being read, when a consciousness engages with it. And in that meeting, both the book and the reader are fundamentally changed forever. And this brings us to the final, absolutely stunning conclusion of this entire line of thought. This is the moment where Borges's abstract philosophy becomes an intimate description of what you are experiencing, right here, right now. So remember, we are not just pulling information out of the world. That's not what's happening. It's participation. We're entering into our relationship where we are also being shaped and changed by the very things we observe. And as you engage with these ideas, right now, you are not just a passive audience. You're not just the reader. This shared act of attention, this connection between you and these words, it is actively shaping your consciousness in this very moment. In a very real sense, the text is reading you. And that's not just a clever statement. It's an invitation, a question that leaves us right at the edge of this profound mystery about the shared nature of our own minds. So, notice, who or what is the presence that is attending to these words right here alongside you?